All right, so if you're an employee and you have entrepreneurial dreams and you've been thinking about making that leap into entrepreneurship, but you're dragging your feet and you don't know when the right time to do it is, this video is for you. That's because the tool that you can see on the screen right here, this is a financial runway calculator for entrepreneurs, is going to give you the exact date that you can make that leap. Now, the reason that I made this tool is that 3-4 years ago, I found myself in a job that I'm sure would have been great for a lot of people, but for me, it just felt like agony every day. I drive in, white knuckling it, would sit in meetings, just like, I don't want to be here, I don't want to be here, I don't want to be here. And that was always my feeling. And the reason for it was in my bones, I knew I was meant to be an entrepreneur, but my actions were that I was an employee. And what happens is if you're the same type of person as me, that tension that you feel going into your job every day is because there's something called cognitive dissonance going on. That is when I believe to be this is my identity for me as an entrepreneur, but my actions don't align with that identity. So that creates tension. So that's why I wanted to make this tool for you, is to help encourage you to get a date on your calendar of like, that's the date I'm going for. That is when I'm going to make that leap into entrepreneurship. So let me show you how this calculator works and give you a little bit more context as we get through it. Your emergency fund goal, right? It auto-populates at 6 months. I would recommend, if you're going to become an entrepreneur and you're like me, who's maybe a little bit more anxious about this video is not for the person who dropped out of college in week 1 to start up a business. It took me a while to get into entrepreneurship. If you're more anxious, just be honest with yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. There's actually a lot of pros that come with that when you're running a business. You're less prone to make silly mistakes that somebody who thinks everything they touch is going to turn to gold. But what I would recommend is do a minimum of a 6-month emergency fund goal. If you're really anxious, you can make it 12. You can play with that number. So your current personal emergency fund savings, like let's say, in your savings account, you have $2,000. Your current business startup savings. So this is assuming that you have this separated. I would recommend separating them. Try to build up your personal emergency fund first to your goal, then build up your startup costs. So let's say you got $1,000, all right? Monthly W-2 earnings after tax. Let's say you're making $5,000 a month, netting that out after tax. You can figure that out pretty quickly looking at your pay stubs. Monthly side hustle earnings after tax. I'm going to leave this at 0, but this is going to be something that's really important later in this video that we're going to talk about briefly, okay? Monthly expenses. Let's say that you have $4,000 of monthly expenses and your business startup costs, you Google it, whatever your business idea is, Google tells you it's $5,000, okay? So then what you get here is an automatic date. This is saying September 13th, 2025. So as of making this video, you're talking a little over 2 years out, specifically 26 months. It's going to take you 22 months to accrue your emergency fund, and it's going to take you 4 months to accrue your startup costs. So for a lot of people, myself included, I look at that, that's not really motivating. I'm like, oh geez, that kind of sucks. What you can do with this calculator is there's a little button here that you can switch. So now, if you recall, our monthly expenses are $4,000 and we weren't doing a side hustle. So what happens if we drop our monthly expenses by $500? We continue with the 6-month emergency fund goal. And then for the side hustle, you're just like, you know what? I'm going to buckle down. I'm going to commit to driving for Uber, doing Lyft, Uber Eats, whatever it might be, not fun stuff to do. And I don't want you doing this in the long term. I want you to do this kind of stuff now to get you to your goal faster. And then know that when you start your business, there's always this cash flow option for you, right? If things are struggling out of the gates, you can still drive on the weekends or whatever it may be. But the goal is just to use this to get to where you want to go, okay? And I really stress that, all right? So now what you can see here is 9.2 months is how long it's going to take. So again, going up here, 26 months, 9.2 months. So for 9 months, you move your timeline up dramatically. Are you willing to cut your expenses $500 a month and then swallow your pride and do gig economy or whatever it is that makes you some extra income on the side? So this is kind of fun because then you can start really playing with things and you're like, you know what? I think I can actually make $2,000 a month if I really hustle. It's going to suck. What does it look like? All right, just over 6 months out, you have enough financial runway to start your business. Now, as far as the financial runway, why is this important, right? Basically what you're saying is, currently, monthly expenses, $4,000. If you have 6 months, then you're looking at I need about $24,000 to cover 6 months expenses. So there's something here, an article called risk compensation. And this is a theory. And basically what this theory is that when risk is perceived to be high, we act less risky. But when risk is perceived to be low, we behave riskier. And it makes a lot of sense when you think about it. You're like, okay, I feel safe. I'm willing to take some bigger swings, right? When you're jumping into entrepreneurship, it's twofold, all right? The first is actually making the leap. A lot of people don't. Certain studies have said that 92% of people with a business idea never start a business. That's why I'm making this tool for you at bizbuddy.com/runway, is I want you to make that leap. But then when you actually get your business set up, right, you actually set up an LLC, you start, conducting business, trying to get leads or whatever your business may be, that you're operating from a position of strength and not weakness. And that's because oh, I got 6 months of runway expenses to cover me. Like, I know I have this long before I have to, go back to my old job with my tail between my legs. But you also know, like, if I need to, I can create cash, maybe $1,000, $2,000 a month from a side hustle, which again is going to make your runway even longer. So again, I hope this video was helpful for you. And what I would suggest is, if you're serious about starting a business soon, there's a video here that's going to explain everything you need to know about setting up an LLC, which is going to protect you as well when you get that new business set up. So I'll catch you on the next video, and I'll definitely catch you on the calculator on the website. All right, see you in the next video.